am so excited. I'm going to my very first in-person speaking engagement for 2022, and quite frankly, it's my first speaking engagement under my brand's Courage Hackers, and I'm so proud of myself. I'm so excited because the story of getting here is one that is largely about overcoming imposter syndrome and believing that you are good enough as you are and there's no more for you to gain or know. You know, you just have to keep moving forward even when you don't think so. Because in 2020, when I first launched, and I mean, I was on this whirlwind. I was just like crushing it, goal after goal after goal, and booking opportunities virtually. And I landed, or pitched and landed, my very first in-person workshop series, which would have been a 3-part series with this organization. And when it came to rates, I just got so nervous I didn't want to talk about it anymore, and I ghosted. By far my most embarrassing, disappointing moment in this season of life for me. But I am just I'm so proud of myself, especially for this particular one that I pitched that I'm going to today, because I remember sitting in the room years ago when I first got into HR, about 8 years ago, and thinking that I wanted to get into tech and not really knowing what I wanted to, you know, how I was going to do that, not having a tech background and being so early in my HR career. And I remember going to this event and being hundreds of women there and looking around thinking, like, not only am I going to get into tech, but I realized the speakers at that time were just white women. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was in that moment that I decided I was going to get on one of those stages. I was going to be the color that needed to be inserted into those types of conversations around being a woman and navigating, you know, professional experiences in that context, in the tech space. That's what this context is as well. But I am just like, I'm not gonna cry because I got mascara on and I have no way to correct that. But I'm so emotional about it because I remember the exact moment thinking to myself that I was going to be on that stage. And here I am now, 2 years into my brand, after overcoming all kinds of imposter syndrome, after doubting myself about my potential, doubting myself about, you know, whether or not I was good enough to speak, and going through the process of overcoming that belief system and that mindset. And now I am speaking today about the thing I love speaking about more than anything else, which is not only having a seat at the table, but it's being the seat. You are the table. You know what I mean? Like, I am the table. So I'm excited. My husband was stoked, obviously, for me to get so dressed up and actually take the time to get my clothes on. And believe it or not, 90% of this is Fenty, honey. Fenty has just been serving and delivering on her promise. And so I am just over the moon to do this. I hope that I'm able to capture enough B-roll to insert it into this behind the scenes and catch up with you once I'm on the other side of this experience. I'm gonna get this really quickly. And then, so what you do is, you see it says record, that's it. So it's a little bit different for me, sit at the table, being in HR, being a woman of color, being a black woman, being a mom. I've recognized from my own personal experiences, but also as an HR professional, that a lot of times there are conversations that are being held that women don't see that they have, they're not encouraged or empowered to just position themselves there. Just believe you, as you are today, is enough to be at the table, or just screw the table and say, I'm just gonna make my own. So I have this, and that's kind of, as you heard my bio, it's kind of my approach to things a lot of times, is that a lot of times you're not invited to those spaces and those tables, and something in you may think that you're not good enough and there's something in you that is limiting them from wanting to invite you to them. And I choose to reject that. And I believe having a seat at the table means that believing that as you are today is more than enough to be in those spaces. You are the space. You occupy the space. So that's kind of my approach to a seat at the table.
Amen.
I love that.
Woo. Okay. All right. So, back to the question, what can we do to make sure that women don't have to choose between a career and starting a family?
Yeah, so can you hear me okay this way? I project, so if that's okay, it makes me feel weird on the mic. So, what do I do with my hands? I don't know. But it's shocking to hear that stat, right? We are often shaped with looking for talented individuals to take our opportunities, right? And we think about where's the gap in the employment, and oftentimes women are forgotten, not just women, mothers who opted out of the workforce traditionally. You had careers that were going incredibly well, you love what you were doing, but it just was not serving this season of life for you. I was one of them at a point of 8 years of talking to women who have the potential, high-pot women, who have the potential to be leaders, right? They have the potential to have amazing careers and mentor so many other women and finally have that seat. But they ultimately struggle with finding permission to, show themselves at work. They ask if it's okay for me to take time off. My kid is sick. I don't want to look like I can't hold my job responsibilities as well as be a mom. And there's this guilt that comes with it. I've heard so many women who have opted out of the workforce, opted out of leadership positions specifically, because they felt like it would require too much of them, right? Like it would take too much from home. It would require more travel. It would require more an imbalance of work life. So when I think about this, I can speak from my own personal experience and what that looks like, but when I think about this from an HR partnership and what that means for employers, it really is listening to the women in your workforce, not just the women who are coming into those roles today, but if you want the longevity of a woman in the workforce, there's a chance that she's going to be a mom. Not every woman is going to be a mom, but there is a chance. So why not listen to them about what is going to be required? One of the pain points that I have in the workforce is that there's so much excitement about maternity leave and parental leave. I think that's amazing. However, what about when your kid is sick? What about when you have 4 of them? How many of y'all have more than 3 kids in here? Okay. My point. Besides my camera person, though. But there becomes a point in parenthood where you're unrelatable. Like no matter what I explain, I have 4 under 8 and 2 under 2, right? It's a different type of struggle, right? It means a lot of sick people. There are waves. There's a lot of dependencies, a lot of hospital visits. And it's like, what leave policy suits that? So it's considering the fact that women aren't just moms for 16 weeks. It's the craziest thing to me that there's so much pride around, like, oh, we have maternity leave. That's awesome. But what about as we progress in our careers? I know from experience.
Maybe just Google.
But use them. Listen with intent in front of the people who are in front of you. That's your power right there. Listen to the words they're using and use it to your benefit. Use it to serve you forward, right? So that's what I would encourage you to do. If you don't know it, I had to figure it out as far as just listening, just networking, just changing how I communicate with people. To the scope of responsibilities within your role. So it's like, give yourself permission to explore whatever this is that you're feeling. Just sit in it, just explore it. Ask questions, to network on LinkedIn and just talk to people. Just explore your curiosity and just sit there for a little bit until it feels natural to move to the next step. And gradually, you're just going to keep progressing and look back and realize, like, wow, I was there and now I'm here and it feels good. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be a gradual thing.
All right, so I think you saw some of the events and my hair looks all kinds of way right now, but I am just so excited to have an opportunity to have done this. Nothing but amazing feedback, amazing thoughts about it. And I mean, to create space for people to be vulnerable and ask the questions that they ask and to build those relationships. And I just think there's a currency around relationships that people don't value enough. And I'm such a connector that if I know people, you know people. If I know something, you know something, but I'm just thrilled. I'm drained. The introverted me is incredibly drained, but I'm just thrilled to have an opportunity to have done this and to share this with you all and encourage you and inspire you. As I mentioned already, this was a dream that I had for myself years ago, to be able to partner with this particular organization on their stage. So I'm excited to see that through, and just wanted to share that with you, to stay encouraged, stay empowered, and know that you can find the courage to do anything. You just gotta do it.